Hi guys, Storm here with another video. So we're going to be going over des. I've already done a deep dive on it, and unfortunately there's a lot of bugs that Duolingo refuses to fix, whether it's intentional or unintentional. Sadly, they say des is it's. It can mean he, her, it, him, any type of pronoun. It can mean any type of filler word, as I've said in previous videos. But here's the frustrating thing. There's always going to be a definition, right? It tells you the definition of yes. It tells you the definition of department store. It does not do that for its. Instead, it gives you a different definition, which is sorewa, which is that is. Now, it doesn't mean it's, because it's, you can, otherwise, if you say it's and then you have the end of a sentence and it's not a question mark, then you would say sorewa, sorewa, and that wouldn't be the case. Or it would be des, des, if they're just interchangeable. If it's is no longer des and it's instead sorewa, and the end of a sentence is no longer des, it's sorewa. So it's just you would flip on its head, because des is supposed to be an end of a sentence and it can mean it's, but sorewa is that is. So if you just flip it around saying sorewa no longer means that is, and it means the end of a sentence, and you say it's is no longer an end of the sentence, or it means that is. That's where it gets confusing, because then you would just say a bunch of words. If it had multiple that is or periods or multiple sentences, then you're saying at the end of every sentence sorewa, 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 and that wouldn't be it. You would always end at the end of every sentence, you would end it with des, not sorewa, because that is. Des is a confusing multiple thing that Duolingo should tell you in detail what it's applied to, when it's applied to, how it's applied to, and deep dive on how it works. So you have a basic fundamental. If you don't have the fundamental of a language, you cannot learn its language. Otherwise, you end up sounding like an idiot for when you try to translate. So they need to have the exact definitions. And what they should do when there's a point in explaining, okay, this is the literal definition, but then when you go over to Japan, you wouldn't use this literal translation because you would sound like a foreigner. You would say instead XYZ. So they need to have a better way of explaining what words are and not confuse people. Especially look at this. Do you see how the definition is on top and the word you're trying to learn is grayed out, right? Same with when you click hi, right? The word itself is it doesn't even tell you the word itself. On the top it says it for this one. It does not say it for this one, because it just points up to it. This one, for whatever reason, points down, which is bizarre. I don't know why they do that. But as you can see, hi is the direct translation of yes. And I don't know what EE is. I'm assuming based off importance and how often it's used. Hi is the most often used, and then you have informal, and maybe if there's a ceremony or specific person you're addressing to, you would say yes differently. Either way, they don't go into detail and explain how it is. So then how are you supposed to learn the language if you don't understand its fundamentals, its core fundamentals? And it contradicts itself. Otherwise, you're sitting there half the sentence saying sorewa, sorewa, which you wouldn't do. You would say sorewa means that is. I had someone explaining to me that sorewa is also that is and it's. Well, if that's the case, then you just say sorewa, sorewa, you would never need des. And unless you just want to sound redundant and you just say different words of that is, and period, period, period. And it just doesn't make any sense. So, and it's also, it breaks the pattern of white and grayed out. White and grayed out. Now you have not white, you have kind of a weird gray and then a dark gray. And so it's weird how it's inconsistent and it's confusing, and it needs to be addressed, because there have been plenty of times where I've put it's and it means des, and down below it's trying to say it means sorewa, which it doesn't mean sorewa. Sorema means sorewa. I've had a sentence where it says that is, and then it ends the sentence with des. So you wouldn't say sorewa, sorewa. That's where it gets inconsistent and confusing, and they need to break it down. So it's either one of three things. The bug, it's someone who made it, mislabeled it, and they need to go back and fix it. Or three, it's worded poorly or explained poorly, and there needs to be more in-depth example and execution. Like they executed what they're trying to do poorly, and so it comes up across poorly, so people are not able to understand the fundamentals of what it's trying to portray. And so that's where we're at right now. They really need to fix these bugs. Stop being lazy. Stop being pompous. Like, I'm so high up, I don't need to fix my bugs. I'm too proud to admit I'm making mistakes. That's what needs to be addressed, and they refuse to address it. Like a lot of companies, they're too lazy, too busy counting their millions of dollars that they have more than enough money than they know what to do with. But it's a dick-sized competition once you get that rich, which is unfortunate that it happens to be that way. So yeah, it's just, they need to address these bugs, guys. If anyone has helpful info. If there's anything I'm missing, I'm more than glad to be educated and to be humbled. Please, if there's anything I'm mistaken, please let me know. Just try to be nice about it. And if you have any ideas of why Duolingo is the way it is, please let me know. Thanks.